This video includes people talking about dementia. We made the video because it's important to hear from people who are not always included in research, but we know this might be hard to listen to. We hope that you will watch and celebrate relationships with us, but please look after yourself at the same time. You may wish to watch with someone else who you can talk to about dementia. The idea for Stand By Me came from self-advocate Andrew Doyle, who has a learning disability and received a diagnosis of dementia in 2019. Andrew was working with me as a co-researcher on a previous grant at the time of his diagnosis, and it became apparent that there was no information to support couples with a learning disability in this situation when one of the partners has a diagnosis of dementia. Andrew was the driving force behind our successful grant application, and he continues to be an active part of the team. Andrew's married to Lynn, and the project name Stand By Me was chosen by the advisory group, but it was also the song that Andrew and Lynn had their first dance to at their wedding.
It was a really nice day.
Yeah. Was the weather good?
Weather was, it was good that day. Nice, isn't it?
My feet sore. Your feet were sore?
Aye,
Because did you have fancy shoes on?
Sanders.
Until our study, there had been no research to understand how couples with a learning disability are affected or supported when one partner receives a diagnosis of dementia. This voice was missing. It was important that the research team were advised at all stages by Andrew, Louise and Lynn, and that we were able to bridge that gap between learning disability services and dementia care.
I think it is a good idea for things to put things on like this for people who's got dementia, because you don't know what's going to come round the corner one day. One day you might turn around and say, right, I've got dementia, and who's going to look after me?
During the research, we learned about the experiences of 8 couples with a learning disability where one partner had dementia. To explore their experiences, we created like a roadmap with signposts to the past, the present and the future. We then worked with an artist to create images that represented potential stages in their relationship, starting with when couples first met. We also interviewed social care support staff and family members, and that included parents and siblings. In the interviews, we asked about how couples first met, responses to and support for the relationship, the couple's life together with dementia, and then what changed afterwards. 3 of the couples experienced the partner moving into a care home. For 2, this was local, and in all 3 cases, the relationship was supported.
Being a part of the study was important to us at Keene Community Lifestyles for many reasons. For some of the people we support, we've been in their lives for many decades now, and sadly some have gone on to develop dementia. The nature of our work has broadened to include people with a wider range of social care needs. We are supporting an increasing number of people with dementia with and without a learning disability. It's vital, therefore, that as an organisation we develop our policies, practices and the skills of our teams in order to provide the very best support that we can.
Working for Alzheimer's Scotland, I had a special interest in this study. People with a learning disability are not always included in research, general awareness raising or work by dementia organisations. The increase in life expectancy for people with a learning disability is very positive, but it does also mean living to an age where illnesses and diseases of old age occur, as for everyone.
Incredibly, the 8 couples in our study had been together for a combined total of 170 years. The average relationship so far has lasted 20 years.
Went to see the doctor, and he he said about me, about with dementia, because the things in the back of the brain are getting worse again.
It's just, did you get a scan?
Yeah, wait for a scan. I don't know if there's a difference between Alzheimer's and dementia.
Okay.
But so excited, like how hard it's going to be for me when I start getting the symptoms, whatever it is, and how it's going to affect them. And
We heard about some difficult times from the couples, but we also heard some very positive stories and examples of what helped people with a learning disability to live well with dementia, and that's something we don't hear enough about. These are couples who've been together for decades in some cases. We travelled through time listening to stories of relationships that in some cases started in a long-stay hospital or institution and took us through care in the community, group living, and more recently, people being supported in their own homes. Family members and staff talked about how their expectations had been exceeded and how stereotypes were challenged. People's wish to be in a relationship, to move in together, to marry, just hadn't been considered before people with a learning disability made it happen. Through their relationships, the couples challenged the perception of others, both before and after a diagnosis of dementia. And most of all, of course, we've celebrated relationships.